Hi guys, German Prepper here. You might imagine reading the headlines of the mainstream media that the world is very much going about its business as football, Christmas sales, celebrities, and so-called royals dominate the headlines. It is of course all a fabrication for the distraction of the masses, a great lie to quiet concerns into the real events of our time. We as preppers must see through it all. The war in Europe's east rages day and night without cessation. Not all goes well for the defenders. Thousands of settlements have gone dark in Ukraine as the power networks have been bombed beyond repair. Blackouts reign. Winter has come with heavy snowstorms and freezing temperatures. Millions are on the move, hoping to escape the dark nights and biting cold. You will likely have heard none of this in the mainstream media, so allow me to give you a further update. Be sure to listen all the way through, guys, as there is much to be concerned by. A major Russian Federation advance is being recorded across the front lines. Denis Pushilin, the head of the Donetsk People's Republic, has stated the following on Russian Federation Rossiya 24 state television, which summarizes the current action. We are advancing almost all along the front line and our units are working in difficult conditions, including the weather, but they are advancing. There are advances along the fronts, in the Avdiivka direction, in the Mariinsky and in the Ugledar direction. The Russian forces are currently able to form certain reserves, and this will certainly help them respond correctly and in time to various actions by the enemy. The strikes on Ukrainian targets very seriously affect the situation on the contact line, among other things by depriving the enemy of communications and deteriorating the logistical infrastructure. I think those hits are starting to be reflected on the front line. This can be seen from the equipment. I'm not even talking about the European American equipment. I'm talking about the stable support, which is now much worse. It has to do with the fact that by turning off some areas in the rear, of course, the repair bases, the factories, the laboratories are deprived of permanent power supply. This, of course, has its effect. Logistics, tracking and communication details, etc. are getting worse. Russian missile attacks affect the situation at the front. Repair bases are disabled. The logistics of Ukrainian forces are disrupted. Unfortunately, the citizens of Ukraine who are fed by the same energy system are suffering. But it should be noted that this increases the pressure on the Kyiv regime inside the country. At the same time, the armed forces of Ukraine are still at such a distance that allows them to bomb Donetsk cities such as Donetsk itself, Gorlovka and Yasinovata. Unfortunately, there is no need to say now that there is a decrease in the number of bombings. Dmitry Medvedev, arguably the second most powerful man in Russia, has made the following incendiary yet telling statement which should be noted by those who wrongly believe the war is simmering down and is no longer for all of Ukraine. I want to remind them of indisputable facts. 1. Kyiv is the capital of ancient Russia. 2. Kyiv is a large little Russian city within the Russian Empire. 3. Kyiv is the Republic capital of the USSR. And finally, Kyiv is just a Russian city where people always thought and spoke Russian, to make everything very clear what and how to return. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine has warned it believes the Russian Federation is to launch a new wave of covert mobilization through this statement. According to the available information, preparatory measures are underway in the Russian Federation and in the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine to conduct another wave of covert mobilization into the ranks of the Russian occupation forces starting from December the 10th. Germany has offered Poland the US Patriot anti-aircraft system after a missile hit Polish territory on the border with Ukraine. The Polish Minister of Defense, Mariusz Błaszczak, however, immediately asked Germany to send the Patriot units to Ukraine instead of Poland. Polish President Andrzej Duda then stated, "From a military point of view, it would be better if they were deployed in Ukraine to protect Polish territory as well. Then they will be able to protect both Ukraine and Poland more effectively, but the decision belongs to the German side." A Federal Republic of Germany government spokesman in Berlin has replied with an update to reporters. "We are discussing with our allies how to manage Poland's proposal." The aid never stops, guys. Last week, German government deliveries to Ukraine included 2 tank transporter tractor M1070 Oshkosh, and 14 border protection vehicles. The British Ministry of Defence has announced it plans to supply Ukraine with advanced Brimstone 2 laser-guided missiles with double the range of the previous design delivered earlier in the war. This system essentially allows a missile to scan the battlefield and select the most appropriate target while aiming to screen out civilian vehicles or less important military equipment. Yevgeny Prigozhin, head of the Russian mercenary organisation PMC Wagner, has made the following astounding statement to a Finnish newspaper, Helsingin Sanomat. "There are not many Finns in Wagner. There are about 20. For obvious reasons, I cannot reveal information about them. I have a very good opinion of the Finns on the battlefield. They are fighting in a British battalion, part of Wagner, commanded by an American, a former general in the US Marine Corps." Quite an astounding reveal there, guys. A question for you all now to end. Do you believe NATO will back Ukraine to the bitter end, win or lose? As always, looking forward to reading your answers. If you can, please support the channel by taking membership. It really makes a difference. Keep prepping, guys. Cheers for now.